George and Ira Gershwin, and legendary writer-director combinations like Tennessee Williams and Elia Kazan. Now, every week, our new segments side by side will profile a different collaborative team working today. This week, we visit composer Elliot Goldenthal and director Julie Taymor. Goldenthal's complex scores have set the perfect mood for such blockbuster films as Heat, Batman Forever, and Interview with the Vampire. Julie Taymor, recipient of a 1991 MacArthur Genius Fellowship, is an acclaimed director of theater, opera, film, and television. Their most recent collaboration, The Green Bird, fuses Goldenthal's entrancing music with Taymor's colorful theatrical vision. Noted Broadway and off-Broadway producer Darryl Roth talked with them about their creative partnership.
So how did you first become aware of each other's work, and what was the first piece you collaborated on?
I was doing the Haggadah at the Public Theater for Joe Papp, and I think that Elliot and I had a mutual friend, Christopher Gierke, who was a producer, a film producer, and he knew me and told Elliot that he should see my work. That's how we met.
He called himself Franz Christoph Gierke. I was child star in Germany, and he said both of our works were equally as grotesque. So you bring us together.
Well, your work is so unique. I mean, considering non-traditional theater, I guess, as a compliment, your work takes people's imagination in so many directions because of the elements that you incorporate, the puppetry and the masks and the actors, the text, your music, the movement.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a challenge to combine all of these elements, which are rather diverse?
The fact is, we both love text. We do Shakespeare. We like great acting. So what you have to do when you're approaching a text like The Green Bird or any text and you want to combine these elements is you have to have a very good reason for going from a human face and when you use the normal naturalistic human being and juxtapose them to a highly stylized mask figure or a puppet figure. So we meticulously decide what is the appropriate technique to tell the story. We don't say, we're going to just do shadow puppets or we're going to do mask dancing. We say, what would tell that aspect of the story the most expedient and exciting way?
Can you tell us something about the way you collaborate together? In an original piece, is it the music, the text, what comes first, and how do you actually get to the vision of your artistry?
The answer to that is yes.
Yes and yes.
Yeah, that most of the time it's both. I mean, we in Juan Darien, for example, there were parts that were inspired by a mask that Julie would create, and I'd look at the mask and say, I understand completely what this music has to be. Or she'd listen to it in the case of Lacrimosa, this piece of music that she heard, and she says, well, exactly. I know what the mask has to be.
This is what it should look like.
And it almost is the same way in each project that we're doing. Presently, and the kinks haven't been worked out yet, that music came before, not the text, but before rehearsals.
In The Green Bird?
Yeah.
In The Green Bird. So there are many pieces that are being either imposed or trying to fit in to the rehearsal process that have to be worked out, and then the music has to be adjusted. So it's a both sort of a thing.
It's really a give and take.
It's a give and take.
Yeah, it's like, for instance, yesterday at rehearsal I brought in some music that Elliot had written for the beginning of a scene for Trapoldino and Smeraldina. And I said, this is the idea that Elliot had with them coming in. Now, I told him they're going to come in on a Vespa with a pig attached to the back, and the pig is the sausage shop. And, and so all of a sudden he created this music and made it sound like it was a street in Rome, and it's full of screaming and yelling and cursing and this and that, and then they're setting up shop. And I said, okay, now the pigs are going to be fed little pigs into the mouth of the big pig, and he's going to shit out little sausages. So Elliot's creating this. See, it's a lot of The Green Bird or any commedia has Lazzi, and Lazzi is physical shtick, as Harvey Keitel said. And what Elliot is creating...
He said Lazzi.
He said, what's Lazzi?
He says, what's Lazzi? Oh, you mean shtick.
Yeah, shtick.
Same thing.
So Elliot's creating musical Lazzi, where we don't create the movements first. I told him the idea, this is the elements. He created this piece of music. I brought it into the actors. It started to work, but there wasn't enough of it.
So you expanded on the theme.
Yeah,
So
expanded on it.
this is the truest collaboration because you're really melding your two talents.
Totally. Or what I love, because I've worked with him for so many years, is to let him go free, to not give a whole lot. You know, we talk about it. I say where I want major musical pieces to be. He's got a scenario saying where you have to really find, these are musical moments. And then he goes and he's created 27, 35, 40 different pieces, and then I get it. It's sort of like opera in a sense, where you get a fixed musical piece and then you have to fill it.
To fit in the blank.
And what that does is it really liberates. It's a certain, the restrictions are also a liberation because you say, okay, this is to push you. It's creating a ballet, it's creating a dance. And because this is an extremely verbal text, we want to constantly have places in the text
That's
that
interesting.
release you.
Because Stravinsky said, I wish I were limited to less and less notes, because the less notes that I have to deal with liberates me more.
Interesting.
So he'll create a mood, and then it actually gives structure, especially when you don't have text. So we have this fabulous actor, Bruce Turk, doing The Green Bird, who moves like a dream, and he's got a bird puppet on one hand, and now we've given him a score to find his personality, to give him what the sound is, because he will talk in the play, but he also has moments that are just completely musical.
There's a lot of body movement and body language in your pieces. I mean, just naturally.
Yes.
So the actors have to feel the music and feel where your piece is going, almost inside of both of you, to make it work, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, it's like The Mask. You know, I create a mask for an actor, and they're a little nervous because they're saying, my God, am I going to have to lose my personality and lose who I've lived with for 30, 40 years and inhabit this thing? And why is she, the director, who's also the designer of the mask, imposing this on me so early? And what they have to find is that is actually an enormous canvas. What he was saying, it is enormous range offers for them to play the mask. If they inhabit it, they actually are pulled into a place that they've never gone before.
As
This is the
themselves.
prison.
Yeah.
This is the prison. This is the one that they've been given for life. I'm giving them a face that they don't have, and so they find places
play to it.
inside of them. That
So
reminds
freeing
me of,
for them.
it's very freeing. It's demanding and freeing.
Well, this is a treat for us to be welcomed into your studio and to talk to you about your collaboration, which is unique, extraordinary, creative. You're both such passionate people. We really thank you.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.